Welcome back, everyone. Today I have a special treat for you guys. I have a red, green, Monkey D, Luffy deck profile for you. I know everyone's probably tired of the same meta, which is the three top decks of Emu, Ace, and Zoro. And I decided to play something to counter that meta. And I did extremely well at the treasure cups I entered. One of these I had entered with an Emu, lost in the finals. And then the two treasure cups I did enter with this, I actually did win one. I already sold the Sabo, and then I got third at another one in a different state, and I lost to Jewelry Bonnie in the semifinals. Jewelry Bonnie did end up taking it all. Congratulations. It was actually very surprising, like how well it was doing against Emu. Well-deserved win. But I think this did hold its own. This is extremely good as a anti-meta deck. This breaks like Emu, Ace, and Zoro just from the way it plays, and I will get right into it. So if you don't know, I don't blame you because not a lot of people is playing this leader, but Dawn ×1 on your opponent's attack. If you have 5 or less active Dawn, you may rest any number of your Dawn cards. For every Dawn card rest this way, your leader or one of your Straw Hat crew gains 2,000 power during this battle, which is amazing. If you set up correctly, you get basically an extra 10k in counter every turn, and that really throws your opponent off. It really throws their plays off, especially since they don't really know what they're like going up against because they haven't seen this deck. First, we have 4 Searcher Namis. We do play a lot of Namis in this deck. The red Searcher Nami. 2 1-cost give 1 rested Dawn Nami. Just for my opening play, this is, I forgot to mention, this is a going second type of deck, but it doesn't hurt to go first. There's only really one awkward turn to go first. So if you go second, depending on what you're playing against, you might just tuck a Dawn under your leader and pass, so that because your opponent went first, they can swing at you, which means you have a immediate 2k to use right off the bat. So I usually don't play my searchers unless, you know, it's like Zoro and they don't really have anything to play on turn 2 where they're at 3 Dawn. I mean, sometimes Mihawk, but again, usually I just tuck a Dawn under and pass. If I go first, I don't really have to worry about anything. Drop the searchers, do whatever, and the only time it is awkward is there is that 3 Dawn turn where there is only a few cards I could play, but the cards I play usually won't leave me anything open. So we got those. Then we've got our final searcher, Monkey D Garp. Grab any card with a cost of 3 or more. Very good. Because of all the Namis and Namis can't grab Namis, I did also consider playing in 2 years at the Sabaody. But unfortunately, this card just grabs character. If it wasn't for that, because we play events, if it wasn't for that stipulation, I would probably, you know, split it a little bit. And because people know that you're getting free 2Ks, they do tend to swing 7Ks so that it does, you know, either use 2 Dawn or a Dawn and a card. So those 1K counters actually do come in very handy, just because they're trying to swing 7. Here we have 4 unblockable Sanji. You select 1 Straw Hat crew type character with 6,000 power or more, and during this turn, your opponent cannot activate a blocker. This is basically our win condition in this blocker-heavy format. Well, this is basically the card where we make our 9-cost Zoro unblockable, make it as big as we can, and then just swing into face at Emu, swing into face at Ace. So even though their Whitebeard is big, doesn't matter, they can't block, they just die. This is an incredibly fast deck. It is both very balanced in terms of offense and defense. We have 4 Tashigis to protect our setup cards if we are going against a removal deck. I guess I should also mention that this deck is like very hard to play in against removal decks, but thankfully because Emu is a thing and gatekeeping removal type decks like Rob Lucci, like Shanks, this deck can actually thrive incredibly well when there is like no removal. But I did come up across Blackbeard in one of my treasure cups, and I did do, I did win because we had like a double attack Luffy to push for game, and it, made it a lot easier. 3-cost jewelry body blocker on your opponent's attack, set up to one of your Dawn card active. I was playing more, but she is just really awkward to play. So like, for example, on my going second, she is like my last choice of playing. So I would tap 3 to play her, attach 1 to my Luffy, and then when my opponent swings, stand 1 and then rest. But so we get a blocker and a 2k counter on the board, and it constantly does that every turn. So the longer it's out, it gets you a lot more value. Unfortunately, I like playing this as a super aggro style. So we don't really play too many blockers, and I don't want to set up a blocker. I want to set up aggression pieces like the Nami to recycle Dawn or the 4-cost Zoro. So she is like my last option to play. Now, this is the better one of the 2 Namis. Originally, I was playing 4 of the 1-cost Nami, but this one is just so much better. It gives you 2 rested Dawn. I like setting it up. So again, if we were to play on turn 2, pay 3, attach 2, making my leader a 7, which is a crazy hit, and then still have 1 open. I like setting this up on turn 2. Even if I go first, I will just do it just to swing at a 7. So this is very nice. 2 2k blocker Zoros. This actually has never really come up. I did toss them in thinking, hey, I really need them for the Zoro matchup. I could just rest my searchers and then, have a blocker out to protect my characters. Turns out it's not really necessary because Zoros really hit between like 8 to 10 during the turns, and they're really not going to break my characters with how I set up by that time. So by that time that they can throw out their first Tashigi, they're only going to hit 8 if they go first or 9 if they go second. And with my setup on my turn, I usually leave up 2 to 3 Dawn so I can protect my characters. I could take the attack, but it doesn't hurt me that much to take the attack. So as long as I don't lose the characters. So this hasn't really come up other than it's a searchable 2k. You could also play the 4-cost 2k chopper, I guess, as it's a 6k blocker. But just in case anybody tries to rest anything, Zoro can't be rested, so I do like that. 4 of the new attacker Zoro. On play, if your leader has Film or Straw Hat, set 2 non-active, and at the end of the turn, set this card as active. So again, this is my second option. Like I would go Nami first and then pick this next because it would basically cost 2 to play, have 1 to attach to the leader, and then 1 to use as a counter, and then still have this card that can constantly just stay out there and attack my opponent, which is amazing. Now, key engine piece is just this rare Sanji. On play, set up to 2 of your Dawn cards as active. End of your turn, if your leader has the Film or Straw Hat character, set up to 1 of your Dawn as active. Now, I do want to point out with this and the 6-cost Luffy, which has double attack, if your leader's multicolored, set up to 4 of your Dawn cards as active. Then you can't play anything with a base cost of 5 or more. That's another reason why I play the Zoro. If I play this, I can play the Zoro on my 6th Dawn turn. But between the 2 and that combo, between like getting a Luffy and a Zoro out or a Sanji, I actually rather get the Sanji because Sanji just gives you so much value. So, and the fact that you could play it on 5 or on, if you go first or on 6. So for example, the reason why Sanji is better than the Luffy is Luffy basically will cost 2 to play. Sanji will basically cost 3 to play while you're on your 6th Dawn turn. And then at the end of the turn, it restands 1. So it also leaves you 4 open at the end of the turn, just like Luffy would. Except Luffy is done after he hits the field. Sanji is not. Sanji will just keep on giving it back to you. So when my opponent, like for example, going against Zoro, where if I go on 5, I get 2 active. I get 2 back active, pay, attach 1 to Luffy, and then in a turn, stand 1. Zoro dropping a Tashigi, right? And even if they attach that last Dawn, like 2 Dawn rest protects that. I'll take the life. Zoro isn't deadly because of, you know, me getting that extra hit, them getting that extra hit in. It's deadly because they can remove my crap, so I can't hit them back. And now they can't remove it, which is just amazing. And the longer it stays out, and the better it is. Also, the setup is better for, if I have more Sanjis out, it is better for me to drop my 9-cost Zoro safely, where I know I'll have extra Dawn to counter out. Otherwise, I'll just be taking a bunch of damage that turn. Our boss cards, of course, to beat Emu and Ace and not really Zoro, not in the Zoro match, but Ace and Emu, this is it. We basically just swing multiple times. We have 4 Charlestones. I was originally playing this at 3. You really only need to see 1. This card is basically a 10k counter. It's a 2-cost, 4k counter. Then you trash 1 card from your hand. If you do, set up to 3 Dawn active, which means you could split 6k basically, which is really nice. And because we have some bricks, we just toss it for this. Also, like if your opponent's trying to go for game like Zoro, they're not gonna be able to like count right. It really hurts their math. So this is a must-have at 4. And because, you know, it's not searchable is why I play at 4. And if we had too many, we can just toss it for the pitch cost. So it's not a dead card in any sense. And then finally, what I use to pump up my Straw Hat characters, up to one of your Straw Hat character gains 6,000 power, and then the selected character will not become active in your next refresh phase. Like when I go for game, I might just drop a Searcher if I don't have it already, and then just put it on either Zoro, usually on this one, and make it unblockable, and just hit in face. So Emu not being able to use their blocker, Ace not being able to use their blocker, it's just a death sentence. And then I do have, it does work well again with this Zoro as well, just because, hey, this doesn't matter if I can't refresh in the refresh phase, this will just become active at the end of the turn. And then same thing with this Zoro, it won't refresh in the refresh phase, but I could just use activate main to stand it, and then when attacking to stand it. So I'll get 2 attacks instead of 3. Now, for the last few pieces, there are some cards that you can try. I personally didn't like them. Chopper didn't feel that bad. Chopper did feel okay, actually. You could probably toss like 2 or 3 of these in. This Luffy didn't feel that great. I like the idea of attaching the Dawn and having a rush card in the deck, but it just wasn't, it was not the right setup. Me setting this up on like turn 2, on the 5 or 6 Dawn turn doesn't feel that good. I would only have 1 Dawn open, which doesn't do much, right? Like if I play Sanji, or if I played the other Luffy, I would have like 3 Dawn open, assuming I don't have a Nami on the field, where I would have to attach one of them here. So it just felt so much better where I don't take any damage early in the game. Cavendish also is rough. Like it seems like a perfect match because of this Supernova. I personally didn't care for it because I can't protect it. He's also really small, like a 6, so Zoro can get rid of it very easily. And then finally, I did try Monkey D. Dragon just because it also gives Dawn, but unfortunately, because of the blocker-heavy format, it is not a finisher in any way. I rather drop out another Sanji to go Sanji, like on my 8-cost Dawn turn, and then set up well for a Zoro instead. Also, it's not Straw Hat, so it's not searchable. So there's a couple reasons I just didn't care for it. I will record some gameplay so you guys can see. I did face plenty of Emus and Zoros and Aces in the Treasure Cup, and this just beat them all. Like, I legit only lost to a yellow Bonnie deck in the second Treasure Cup. So this is something I would highly recommend giving a try. And if you like the deck, like, comment, and subscribe. If there's anything else you want to see, or tips, or whatever you guys need, let me know. Thanks for watching.